And we're singing. We're singing. Time to talk. Beauty and the Bitch.
Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun.
It's like really weird that you've been doing that for like 3 hours straight.
I really wanted to get it right and like capture the magic of the series.
You wanted to get it right? You wanted to get it tight?
Get it right, get it tight.
That's right, babies. That is, of course, our show motto here at Beauty and the Bitch. So,
Right and
welcome
tight.
back where we talk about keeping it tight.
Woo-hoo.
Dumbledore does not know what I'm talking about.
No, loose and saggy.
Loosey-goosey up in there. We are, of course, coming to you to discuss... what was it? Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix.
Yes, and in case you've forgotten who we are, shame on you. I'm Mick.
And I'm Morgan. And today we have a very special guest joining us. It was that chirpy noise you heard in the beginning. Ashley!
Hello.
Ashley's here with us. Ashley is
Amazing, amazing, and you're welcome.
Well,
both of you.
You know, intro complete. End of sentence.
Both of us or both of our listeners? Aww.
Oh, hi, baby.
All four of you. And my mom, so that's 5. That's 5. Thanks, Mom.
We're getting a lot of traction.
Oh, yeah.
Ashley, of course, loves Harry Potter, and that's one of the reasons we asked her to be here today, besides that she's awesome. Ashley, we always start with a couple of guest questions so everybody can learn just a little smidge about you.
Sure.
All right. So, number 1 is, why did we ask you to be here?
Because I sit in front of you at work, and every time you talked about Harry Potter, I was like, put me on your podcast.
Basically, yes.
Yeah.
No, Ashley has all of the great Harry Potter opinions. We have a lot of really great philosophical discussions on things such as whether Harry has foreskin and what happens in the Room of Requirement.
It definitely has foreskin, don't you think?
Well, a topic for another podcast.
Oh.
That'll be on the foreskin cast. Coming soon.
In 2018.
In the future. All right, and how do you consume content? Like, what kinds of shit do you take in and how do you do it?
Sure. Well, I'm a social media girl, so I get a lot of like news and interesting articles and stuff via Twitter. I love Twitter. 240 characters. I don't know what to do with myself nowadays. But,
Yourself.
Go.
And I also get a lot of my news via Reddit, and like just content and stuff that way. Yeah, that's pretty much where I consume the majority of my content. I listen to a lot of podcasts like yours, especially this episode.
Oh, you're going to tune in?
Yeah, I'm definitely going to download this one.
You know, you're the first person who's brought up Reddit, and I love you for that, because
You're
Reddit,
welcome.
yes, thank you so much. Reddit is a treasure trove. People don't understand.
Oh, it
Anything you have a question about in pop culture, or just like, literally anything, you can find that information on
There's
Reddit.
like a thread for everything.
There is. It's
And
so
it's been
good.
upvoted and people have commented, so you're not the only person, you know, looking on Reddit to see whether or not Harry Potter has foreskin. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Or who should have won All Stars Season 2 of RuPaul's Drag Race, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. And I know that you get like a lot of news and stuff from there. And how do you feel about like Netflix, Hulu, Amazon? You have a fave or what?
Netflix is definitely bae. The quality of shows and just content they've been putting out, I feel like it just can't be beat. I feel definitely like it's on par with big production houses like HBO and Showtime. And it's they've really changed the game, and I'm all for an industry disruptor, so I choose Netflix.
You choose it over everything?
Over
Love
everything.
it.
Yeah, you know, Hulu I can't fuck with. Why do I have to pay extra when I'm already paying to not see commercials? That's just rude.
Mm-hmm. That's some bullshit.
That's some
It
bullshit.
is some bullshit.
Mm-hmm. It ain't right.
Do you do Amazon Prime? Do you ever fuck with her?
I fuck with Amazon Prime for the 2-day shipping, but I don't utilize the movie aspect, which I probably should because I'm paying for it, right?
Sometime if you're bored, they got
Yeah.
some good, I mean, you know, they don't have everything. But I'm rewatching Sex and the City on Amazon right now, but it might be on Netflix.
Oh, it's on Amazon.
It's on Amazon Prime.
You know what? I'm using, not even my parents, my boyfriend's parents' HBO Go login.
That's what you gotta do.
So,
queen.
you know, definitely dedicated to the hustle life there.
Mm-hmm. So, is it okay if I do the next question, Morgie?
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
No, you're perfect. So, if you had to pick one cuss word as your favorite cuss word, which one would it be?
Oh. Man, I feel like a parent who just got asked to choose their favorite child. It's damn near impossible, but I have a preference.
Okay.
I'm going to say bitch. And you want to know why? Because bitch can be like, bitch, you know? Yeah. And then there's bitch, you know? And I feel like it's a very versatile cuss word, but the close second would be fuck because, once again, it's also versatile. So those are my opinions.
I felt like that was really diplomatic.
I try to be.
You don't want to hurt anyone's feelings.
I don't want to hurt any cuss words feelings, They're both my children, and I love them.
Is there any... I just realized this is such a softball question, because is there any cuss word that people would be like, really, that cuss word?
I mean, if it was, like, overwhelmingly offensive.
Oh, I guess that's true. Like a slur.
Like a slur.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, that's fair. I didn't even consider those cuss words. Oh my god.
Dangerous.
Oh, that's on the Patreon. We'll be doing that shit because we don't want to put that out in the world.
You gotta pay some dollars for that. But not very many. Like, we're reasonable people.
You can afford it.
Make it your next Christmas gift.
We actually are thinking, well, maybe not stocking stuffer, but if someone you love has a birthday in early 2018, you could give them a birthday gift of a Patreon subscription, perhaps.
Yeah,
because we've got that in the works.
Give them the gift of giving all day, every day.
Give them the gift of you.
No, you really did have this idea, which I still am behind, where, like, couldn't people pay money for us to read people they don't like to filth?
Yeah, that's a real thing. Like, so many people get paid to do that kind of shit on Patreon. And I would love to just call some motherfucker's phone and go off if I'm being paid for it, of course. You
would be that person who went into, like, thousands of dollars of debt doing that because it was really satisfying.
It was really good. Yeah.
Honestly, I think it really is fine, and you should really explore that as a career option.
Think about right now, if you could have me call someone in your life and just cuss them the fuck out, read them house down boots, wouldn't you?
Would you do it, like, anonymously for them, or would they know who
Would you be like, I'm calling for Ashley because she hates you?
Yeah, you know what? Okay, Morgan, Ashley just paid me to call you, okay? Bring.
Oh, hello.
Hey, bitch, I got something to tell to you.
Oh.
Are you sitting down?
I am, yes.
You should be sitting down, because I'm about to rip you to pieces. My friend Ashley said, and then you continue on like that.
Oh, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
The name drop.
Because you have to know who.
But then
it could be
was like,
anonymous.
sir, you have the wrong number.
Yeah, it could be anonymous. I could be like, a mutual friend of ours gave me your number.
You and I both know.
Exactly, right?
But you'll never know who.
Yeah. And then you would always, like, end it with, and don't feel safe.
No, don't feel safe.
Yeah.
I'm watching.
Always. Aw, like Snape.
Aww.
Okay, we have one more question for you before we talk about the nuances of whether or not Snape is a good person and how James Potter definitely was not.
Yeah.
It's just like a tale as old as time. No big deal, whatever. There can only be one. But in your expert, astute opinion, who's the beauty? You sit across from me every day.
But you're in my house right now, and I'm a dangerous person.
Life can be great.
Both of you are threatening as fuck. Just put this out there. Also, listeners, if you go to my Instagram and I no longer have any posts in the next 6 months, they both killed me. Please find my bones and bury me next to something pretty.
Aww.
Honestly, TBH, I'm the beauty. You're both the bitches.
Oh, shit!
This is a whole new level of
shit! I think that might be the best, because mostly people are like, oh, someone random's the beauty, but you really took it there. I appreciate that.
Do you mean someone random? Scoop is a dog, and he has a name, and he won't stand for that.
And someone else said your husband, and, like, people are just trying to dodge around. I like that. You said, this is my flag, and I'm flying it.
Yes.
That's a choice.
I really am. I mean, no offense to either of you, but, your girl is serving.
Oh, to be honest, Ashley's gorgeous.
Yeah. We'll give it to you.
Yes. Okay. Well, that's a wonderful series of questions to start this podcast. And I wanted to hit you guys with just some facts and figures about Order of the Phoenix, both the book franchise and the movie franchise.
Get your calculator app out.
Beep, boop. Like Vader's dick. Beep, beep, So, you guys know they made this into a movie. What? Do you think people enjoyed this excellent film?
No, I do not.
You know, I'm right there with you. I felt like it was rushed and kind of sloppy and choppy, and they tried to get some one-liner jokes in there like, sorry, Professor, I must not tell lies. But it was delivered poorly and accurately in the wrong part of the book. There was just a lot of issues, you know what I mean?
I feel like this is the point, because this is the first very long book. And I feel like it's the point where they just can't fit it all in the movies, and nothing about the movies really feels complete.
Yeah, it's missing
moving this point forward. For the book reader. For the movie watcher, it was probably fun and enjoyable. But it was also, I mean, think about it. It was an awkward time in the lives of the actors as well. So maybe it was just like the pubescent, you know, vibes that kind of threw you off. But I truly wasn't a fan. Now, if we're speaking purely about nostalgia, then definitely, I mean, I'll love anything. Yeah, you throw that intro on there, I'll watch just about anything.
Yeah.
Don't hold me to that, but, you know, I'll try. So I think it kind of depends what you were looking for out of the movies.
Well, I was really surprised. I looked at a couple different websites to get a gauge of how people felt about the movies. Rotten Tomatoes, it was at a 78%, which I was like, to me, that seemed right. It's, you know, a solid C+. Not great, not bad by any means. There's a lot of improvements from previous films, though things have been a little different. But on Amazon Movies, it scored a 4.5 out of like 5. Yeah, so like a lot of stars.
No. That data is skewed. Think about the demographics on Amazon Prime.
Well,
okay? Mom and Dad didn't read the books.
Well, that's true.
Wait, but the movie's not on Amazon Prime though. You still have to rent that shit.
Well, you might have to pay for it, but it's still like available on Amazon.
Yeah.
And then on Goodreads, the book got over 2 million ratings, which is insane. I mean, every Harry Potter book has had like millions, but that's 2 million fucking people took time out of their day to tell you what they thought about this book. And it received a 4.47 out of 5 stars. So almost 4.5.
Well, I have to tell you, I have to come out of the closet a little bit here, because I've always said, again, over and over, you know, that's the hard part about being a queer man. You have to come out every day. But anyway, that's true! My postman, he cares. I always said 5 and 6 were my least favorite books. Now, I didn't reread the whole book like I know y'all did, which is shocking and astonishing and impressive. I did reread. I bet it did, and a lot of stress. I did reread bits, and I watched the movie, and I have to tell you, I fucking loved it this time through.
What?
I'm blown away.
Different.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot to be said about...
What do you mean I'm different? No, how am I different?
Well, you know, when we first read Harry Potter, we ourselves were angsty teens, and there was a lot of ourselves inside of Harry's anger. And then I reread it again later when I was kind of like post-angsty teen, but I was like annoyed at all things in life, and so it was extra annoying. But now that I'm like a well-rounded adult who has like a better perception of who I am, I kind of just feel bad for Harry a little bit because Dumbledore did fuck him.
Yeah, Dumbledore fucks him.
He fucked him hard. Not only did he give him like self-confidence issues, but Harry had zaddy issues.
Abandonment.
Yes. And Sirius, that ain't no kind of father figure. R.I.P. I love you, but still.
No, he was a bad influence, and we can talk about that later. But I do feel like Harry has had nothing but negative experiences with father figures. And not to name drop, but you did talk about this in the last episode about Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire.
That's the one.
You did say that when James and Lily came back, James was like, your mother will be right here.
Which is probably the kind of dad maybe he was going to be.
He was like a hands-off dad. He was like, oh, I'll take you to the park, but like, don't get too close and you smell, and I'm not changing your diaper, and I'm going to go and berate Snape because it makes me feel better about myself. Oh, how's my hair? You know, that was James Potter.
Yeah.
Ugh, I have so many feelings. Okay, so 4.47 for the book, and the book was first published on June 21st, 2003. So The Goblet of Fire, we saw a simultaneous release in the UK and the US, and we're continuing that for the rest of the series. So summer 2003, and then just a mere 4 years later, on July 11th, 2007, we got the movie version, which we have discussed before. Ashley, do you feel like the movies came out crazy close to the books and you never realized it until like later?
I feel like it was ages. Honestly, I'm flabbergasted at the idea that they came out so close to each other. Right? Because I feel like I waited so long. Yeah. And I think it has to do with the relation to time. You know, you hear old people your entire life say, oh, when you get older, time goes by so quickly. I'm old now, so I can tell you it's so true.
It's crazy.
So maybe it was just like in our small little childlike brains, 1 year was 2 years now.
Yeah.
But it blows my mind.
Bizarre. And this book was the longest book in the entire series. It clocked in at 257,045 words.
She's so crazy. Did it feel that long when you guys reread it?
Yeah.
Okay. On the reread, yes, it did. It was honestly, thus far, I'm through a reread. I'm up to this book.
Oh, we're in the same place.
Oh,
we are.
Syphilis clinic?
You're there too, Dad.
Oh, that's how I met you. It's how I meet all my friends.
That's actually what happens in How I Met Your Mother.
But I really do feel like it took so long to read. It was a chore. And every book I've read thus far, it wasn't that difficult. But this was really hard. I don't know if it's because it was a very heavy book. There are a lot of very real topics that were being discussed, a lot of parallels to our current political climate, but it was hard to get through. And I know that, Morgan, you kind of felt the same way.
Yeah, there were entire chapters that I just had to skip altogether. Ashley and I were Snapchatting last night as we tried to finish our binge read, and I was like, definitely not reading this Grop chapter.
No!
Can't do it.
Get the fuck out of here.
It was a bullshit. So, but also when you've reread it several times, it really does kind of make it easier for you to pick and choose. If you're like, I know what's happening there, I remember clearly, don't need to relive it. I was also a little surprised at how not sad I was about Sirius's death this time around, because in all of my rereads I've been so emotionally touched by it, but this time I was just like, it's happened.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it happens really quickly. Like, I actually reread those few pages over again, and I was very surprised at how fast it happened. I mean, it was written beautifully. I mean, she can literally write no wrong in my eyes. But it did happen quickly, and I wasn't as shook.
Yeah, wasn't as shook. That's a great way to put it.
Well, I remember when it came out, I don't know if y'all felt this way, but I was very much in the camp of, he's coming back, obviously.
For a lot, even waiting for the next book.
Yeah, and then even the 7th book, I was like, it's fine that he can because I was like, it happened so quick. He just fell through a curtain, he got hit with that curse, yes, whatever, but like, no way that's his end. Like, it happened so quick.
They didn't tell us what the curse was in the book. Do you think it was a Vada Kedavra? Because they made it sound like it was like a green light, but then everyone else who's been hit with that just falls down so quickly, and Sirius had this shocking, slow, lilt back into the curtain, you know? In
the book, was it Bellatrix who shot it? Because it was in the movie, and it was definitely a Vada Kedavra in the movie.
It was Bellatrix.
I bet it. Oh, you get her. Oh, you got a little bit of shade at her. We wouldn't do that if she was in the room, I'll tell you that for certain.
Was it her in the book?
It was
because then Harry chases after her.
Yes, and she's like, I shot your fucking name.
Oh, yeah, and then Harry does the Crucio.
He tried.
He tried it.
Girl.
He'll try it.
He lost his innocence in that moment.
Okay, 2 more statistics, and then we're going to just jump into hardcore discussion.
Because we haven't already.
So, it cost $150 million to make this movie, you guys.
Good God. I don't know if I'm just broke, but that sounds like so much money.
That's a lot of bills. But they earned box office worldwide. That's not even DVD and all that other bullshit. $942,943,935. Almost $1 billion.
And that, children, is why you must be a successful writer.
Yes, you and me.
or plan B. I've said this before, but I think it's a good plan. Cut off her skin and wear it around.
You don't
have to write anything.
Last time you did that, it didn't work very good.
What do you mean it didn't work very good? I went to H-E-B, I bought a baguette.
I heard a little bit when you said that. I shivered. I was like, oh, I like my skin. Don't take it away from
I'm not going to take your skin, honey. How much are you worth net worth?
None.
Not a non-bajillion dollars. It's only the really rich people have to worry about me stealing their skins and wearing them around town.
Bill Gates?
Yep.
Honestly, I feel like we just derailed into a very uncomfortable
Sorry, we'll talk more about that on Serial Killer
Morgan always does that. Morgan does that every time.
Oh, that's so annoying.
I'm sorry, you have one more statistic,
no,
don't you?
I do not.
You're done?
That's it. She's done with the stats.
Okay. Can I just tell you, so one of the reasons, this is my new number 3 favorite, right? One of the reasons I love it so much is
Do you want to recap your other two?
Yeah,
sure. I mean, if you're interested, of course. My number 1 favorite is Goblet of Fire. That's my fave. Number 2 is the first one. Sentimental reasons. But also, it's really well written.
And it's a fast read. And you learn so much in such a short period of time. It's like 83,000 words.
You fall in love instantly.
Yeah, it's got so much charm.
Stars in your eyes.
Exactly.
So good.
And then number 3 is the 5th one. For now, it used to be number 7 was my number 3 favorite. This is confusing when I'm talking about it.
I gotta let you know.
Uh-oh. Am I getting a phone call right now?
Ring, ring.
Hello?
Girl, you better get ready.
Uh-oh.
In the last podcast, you know that I'm a listener, obviously, by now. Morgan talked about the fact that Goblet of Fire is my least favorite.
Well, actually, no one's perfect. Don't worry about it.
Oh, I know you talked about yourself, boo.
It's a rubber glue situation.
Yes.
Don't feel safe.
Hello?
Can we use that for everyone when we say mean things to each other? Girl, you better answer your phone.
Ba-ring, bitch.
You send me the voicemail.
Click.
I'm sorry. Yes, I'm sorry. So, why is number 4 your least favorite?
Because Cedric dies, and it's heavy, and it's the big turning point in the story where things start to get really dark, and Harry gets really stupid, and he's misunderstood, and there's a lack of communication. Everything up until that point, the message was teamwork. Good can defeat evil. And the 4th book was definitely a turning point in that, and shit just got real, and it made it hard, and I like to live in a world of fairies and rainbows and unicorns. So.
And for the first time since Harry, Ron, and Hermione were like inseparable friends, we see them like divided. Like they're divided over Crumb. They're divided over Harry not putting his name in the goblet, and Ron thinking he did. We saw like a lot of like division. That's a really great point. So you don't like it.
I don't like it.
She doesn't like it.
I just want to let you know that the 4th Harry Potter book texted me last night, and it doesn't like you either, bitch!
Mutual.
Well, I have better hair, so it's okay.
Whoa, she does have great hair. Yeah.
Okay, so we could you do have great hair, yes. We could probably... So we could probably talk about number 4 plus and minus for a whole nother episode, which I would be into. But the reason I like number 5, the big reason, okay, is because you get 3 new characters, all of whom I have very strong feelings
Tell us who they is.
Well, first you got Luna Lovegood, who's like totally like one of my favorite characters, and I kind of forgot about her in a way. I really did, and she's like just amazing. And then you also get old Bellatrix. This is the first time we really see her, and she's got lines and shit.
And she's amazing. She's a great addition to the team of villains. She truly is.
Do you happen to remember that woman's name, that actress? She was married to Tim Burton.
Helena Bonham Carter?
Yes! I think this is the perfect role for her. She's been in a lot of shit, but I think she's amazing.
I actually saw an interview with her where she talked about, like, when she tries to threaten her kids, she dresses up like Bellatrix Lestrange, and they freak the fuck out.
She would.
Yeah.
She would. That's her deal.
And then you also get a character, Morgan. No, her name is Dolores. Dolores Umbridge.
God damn it!
What? I just got confused.
Wait, who was the first person you said?
Did
Luna?
you already forget?
Luna
Then Bellatrix.
and
I know,
Bellatrix.
it's so sad.
Well, I was just thinking, because there's a lot more than 3 new characters, because we get the whole order, but those are the 3
but they're
you
the
care
3
about.
good ones,
Okay.
though. I mean, maybe you care about others, but I don't.
Y'all like Mundungus Fletcher?
Girl, all the tacky-ass Mundungus with his ugly hat.
He's got some good cultures
Cheap
for
ass
sale.
man, please. I don't want his self-stirring
He's
culture.
got some Prada bags.
Out of his trunk. Yeah.
Genuine leather.
Well, okay, so... So, here's the thing. As far as Luna goes...
Go on, tell us.
Okay, so Luna, to me, when the whole squad gets together, which we see for the first time this book, right? You have Neville, and you have Luna, you have Ginny, and our big 3, right?
Yeah, that's pretty, yeah.
Right? I think
squad.
Luna is kind of like, if they were all Friends characters, Luna would be Phoebe.
Obviously.
Right? Who's like totally lost. right?
Should we cast the rest of them?
Yes, we should.
Shit, now we have to.
Okay, so we've got Phoebe. That's
This was
Luna.
unplanned. I'd like just...
no prep.
I would like to point out that Sarah came at me when we were casting ourselves in the friends group, and she told me I was a Monica, which I didn't realize until she literally said it to me, because of course I thought I was a Rachel.
You're such a Monica, you didn't say it.
And as soon as she said it, I couldn't unsee that I'm obviously a Monica, and I was distraught, but I was like, Hermione Granger is a fucking Monica.
Hell yeah, she is.
Absolutely.
What?
Loud and proud.
Since we was being Monica an insult, I love Monica. She's got her shit together.
Monica, yeah.
Oh,
I'm just gonna keep doing that the entire... That's the extent of my one-liners this episode.
No, it's working. I love it. So we've got Luna's a Phoebe.
Hermione's Monica. That means Ginny's Rachel, which actually kind of works.
No, I think that works very
She's supposed to be like a heartthrob in the books or whatever.
Yeah, she gets the dudes.
So, Ron... We've got Neville, Ron, and Harry.
Ron is Joey 1,000%.
Yeah, he's gotta be. Yeah.
Dopey, he's hungry all the time, clueless.
Oh, so clueless.
Kind of rude, but rarely on purpose.
Jealous. Yeah, he's a Joey.
And so that means that Harry has to
Neville.
be Ross then. Harry's got to be Ross. Because he ends up with Monica. Or ends up with Ginny,
Rachel.
who is Rachel. Yeah. So Harry's got to be Ross, and then that means that Chandler is Neville. Which makes sense, right?
Wow.
Because he's like a little dopey but a little successful.
Yeah, we dropped some serious truth bombs. My mind is blown.
I've literally never thought about it, but it couldn't be cast more perfectly for what we just said. We're brilliant, and that's an amazing concept because it's the perfect number of fucking people, and they're all those kind of stereotypes. That's crazy. We're gonna do an episode about this on Literary Darlings when we get that started.
Oh yeah, sure enough. Well, look,
darling.
I'll write that down.
That's not the only reason I love Luna, though. I do love Phoebe, and I love that she connects so hard to Phoebe.
Wait, is that already a thing? Did we not blow this out of the water? We had to Google.
No. I mean, maybe I'm sure someone has said that before, but I just wrote that shit down. I didn't see that nowhere.
You didn't Google it.
No, girl, I didn't Google nothing. Luna, I love though because she's like Harry's most profound friend, and I did see that online.
And she changes him.
Yeah.
He sees the world differently after they become friends.
Well, she makes him feel comfortable and cognitive about the fact that he sees the world differently.
And he doesn't want to fuck her. Harry, we just talked about this today. We love that Harry and Hermione don't get together because it shows that men and women can truly just be friends and not have like a will they, won't they, like, oops, they accidentally fucked situation. And I feel like Harry has that with Luna too. Harry's largely asexual in a lot of ways.
Oh, he really is. It's because he's #overwhelmed.
Yeah.
The boy, traumatized. Yeah.
The boy who could not.
And Luna also, speaking of him not being able to, she walks him through grief, because he's experiencing so much grief at the beginning of this book, and with the Thestrals, but also at the very end, and even at the end of the series. I'm not going to say too much, we're not there yet, but like, she is the one consistently that comes to him and says, yeah, look, like, it is really hard when the people you love die, but, and then just takes him off and
she's kind of fearless.
She's amazing.
And I think she actually says verbatim, it's not like I'm never going to see her again, when she was talking about the death of her mother. And that was the first time death is very much alluded to in the wizarding world thus far. We know that he could see his parents, and we know that, there was that whole mirror thing that was going on. But she's, for the first time, kind of like, oh, she's just waiting for me. Mom, I'll just see her in a few years. It's no big deal.
Yeah, and also, like you said, not to get too ahead, but, like, later in the series, she gets, like kidnapped by, like, the Death Eaters, and she's very, like, chill and positive about it, and she's just like, everything's gonna work out. And she's right.
No, she's literally who I aspire to be.
Do you think, like, is it possible at all that Luna has, like, the gift of sight? Like, maybe not a full-on seer, but, like maybe...
an emotive person? Like, something with emotions? Or she's got tons of emotional intelligence. She could have.
And she's not, like, she's not easily offended, right? Like, when she's telling Harry, like, oh, everyone steals my things and whatever.
That is so horrible.
That is
Fuck those students.
You know what?
Fuck them hoes.
That removes the question of whether or not kids in Hogwarts are horrible, just like all other kids. Turns out they fucking are. Because Luna is a gem.
And it's not just the bad kids. You know, it's not just the Malfoys, the Crabs, and the Goyles. It's the James Potters and the Sirius Black.
Especially. Yeah.
Well, and as they said, too, you know, it's really easy, especially when you see Snape's memories of being bullied by the popular kids.
Oh, and
to
he
be
had
like,
graying
I know, gray
underwear
underwear.
on.
But I would like to say, and I'm really not defending those two because they were assholes in that moment, but I imagine being in school with Snape was also not fun. Because he was an asshole.
Yes, surely
He's been
he
an
was
asshole
horrible
for
as
a long
well.
time. So, but the thing is, though, kids just don't know how to hide it. I used to get so mad when I was a kid, and people were like, kids are so cruel. And I'd be like, okay, kids didn't do the Holocaust, first of all. There were no children involved. Except...
You didn't know about Baby Hitler?
Baby Hitler. Oh my God. Same evil, but cuter. Yeah. No, but
that little stash, though.
everyone's gross. Everyone is capable of like cruelty, right? But kids, they just they don't understand that you have to be cruel in a certain time and place, and only when it's deserved, and not just willy nilly.
They learn, though.
Oh, they learn eventually. Yeah.
You know what's great also in like accordance with Luna is that this is one of those first times when you kind of get like Ginny being a little more adult and a little more character building. She has more independent conversations, and in the books Ginny's actually the person who introduces us to Luna Lovegood. She sits them all down in the carriage and she says, hey guys, have you met Luna Lovegood? You know, and we get Luna with her upside down magazine looking quirky and fresh, but like she's the one who's like, because somebody else was like, no, we can't go in there, Looney Lovegood's in there, and she's like, it's just Luna, it's whatever, because she's like a pretty chill person.
Yeah.
Ginny really is.
Well, Ginny really develops in this book. And one thing that I
In
thought
more
was,
ways than one.
one thing that I thought was interesting that was touched on is that both Ginny and Harry have been possessed by the Dark Lord.
Yeah.
And that's kind of a bonding point for them. And you get a lot of the segues into their relationship in the book that I think we miss out in the movies.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Do they kiss in the 5th movie?
No.
Not until the 6th, right? Or the 7th? It's a long time in the movies. I don't remember in the books either.
They kiss for the first time in that like room, in the room of requirements.
Oh, so it is in this one.
I think it's in the 7th one. No, when it turns into the hiding place. Remember? No, it's the next one because he goes to that room to deposit the Half-Blood Prince book. He goes there, so it's the next book. Okay. Because that's right, because we meet Slughorn, and then Hermione confronts him.
Yeah, spoiler alert for those of you.
Yeah, spoilies.
Well, too bad. We done spoiled a lot up until now.
Girl, you know how I feel about those damn spoilers. Look, this damn shit came out a decade ago. Get your head out of your ass and read it if you haven't already. I don't got no time for that. It makes me so mad. People are like, ooh, this classic movie, you just spoiled for me. Well, bitch, if you didn't know Rosebud was a sled, then I can do nothing to help you.
Be cultured.
Exactly.
You go.
Okay. I'm sorry, baby. Are you sure?
Yeah.
Sometimes Morgan stabs me with a knife under the table if I talk too much.
I keep it in my boots.
The reason I like Umbridge is because I hate her so much, just very quickly on that. She has this, like, teary-eyed, fanatic, warbling kind of voice. She always looks like she's about to cry. Exactly. She reminds me of religious fanatics I knew growing up in high school. Now, that's just my connotation. I'm not saying everyone who is religious is like that, but that's what she reminds me of. And I think she might be one of the most hateable characters in the series, mostly because she's, like, basic as fuck. She's such a basic bitch.
Do you think she is the best and scariest villain from the Harry Potter series, or do you think Voldemort trumps her? Because she's a very real and tangible kind of villain, especially where we're at in the world right now, and this trumps America. You know what I mean? Like it's a very real kind of scary.
She's the Kellyanne Conway of the story. She's a fucking fact flipper. She's the, this isn't really going on, smoking,
smoking mirrors. Everything's fake. Nothing to see here. Look over there. She totally
She's fucking.
is.
So I think she's the most repulsive villain. I think I want to squish her. Just squish her.
You almost could. And in the book, the illustrations of her, she literally looks like a toad.
Mm-hmm. They can maybe. She's much prettier in the movies.
Oh, she's quite precious. Imelda Stanton.
Yeah, she's so good.
So cute. But still terrifying. Mm-hmm. And she's very pink, which is off-putting.
Mm-hmm. I do love those kitten plates, though. I'm so sorry, but a whole wall of kitten plates that are all meowing at you. That's fabulous. That would be fabulous in my house.
So.
Yeah.
I want to know, do you think she got fudged or filched?
Ooh.
Now,
or both?
At the same time.
Whoa.
what you're asking is if she fucked one of those two men, not fudge as in anal sex and filch as in felching, which is where you suck semen out of someone's body.
What? How do you do that?
Yeah.
You mean like a blowjob?
No.
What is
felching? Oh, I might embarrass myself.
Out of the a-hole?
Well, yeah, it's like after semen has been deposited, and I think felching is when you suck it back out of the body. Wherever it's in an ear and a nose, like I don't know.
Mad uncomfortable in my brain right now.
Well, it exists, so I wasn't sure, so I was like fudged or filched. I was like, I don't know. She'd probably be into both. She seems like a closet freak to me.
I think if she's choosing either of those people and not those sex acts, that she's probably choosing fudge on both fronts, in my opinion.
Yeah. No. I think she chooses to be fudged. Like she's
probably getting fudged,
but she's getting.
She's taking a little bit. I mean, he is there.
She's taking one for the team.
He's there.
Like, I need a minion. Mm-hmm. I need someone who's going to be.
He's hanging her signs up, if you know what I mean.
Yes, queen. She said, "Go hang up this proclamation and then eat this pussy."
And he was like, "Okay."
She said it like that too.
I assume that's how women ask for cunnilingus, right? I try sometimes. I go to straight bars and stand in a corner and scream that, but I never get anything.
So weird.
It's just not my club.
Well, that's fair. So in addition to us getting a bigger picture of Ginny and Luna being introduced, we also feel like it's kind of a lot of world building that's happening, right? We're learning a lot more about the Ministry of Magic and the facets of that, though it leaves a lot of questions open for us. Like, I have so many questions about the Department of Mysteries, but I think that's probably kind of the point of it.
I think it's a mystery.
I think so, too. But do you know what I mean? Like, we got a lot more world building this time around.
Yeah, we got the St. Mungus or Mungos.
The hospital.
The hospital that was, like, in the human world, but we didn't know that it was actually a wizard hospital. There are a lot of different layers that are definitely world building.
We got a lot of background on Voldemort's first reign of terror as well, which is insightful, I think.
I think it was really awesome to see Grimmauld Place, as far as like fleshing out the world, to see like it's both a family home and like a secret hideout, and it's in the city. It's not in the boonies like the Weasleys, which is, correct me if I'm wrong, that's the only wizarding household we've seen so far. Am I wrong?
The Weasleys.
Yeah, the Weasleys. They're the only ones, right? It is, yeah, because Hermione's parents are dentists.
We don't go to anyone's house.
No. Yeah. So it's only...
You're not invited.
It's the second house we see. But seriously, we don't wear peak on Wednesdays.
Ooh.
So you can sit over there with the art freaks.
I'm wearing black.
Your bra is pink.
It's orange. Y'all are colorblind.
Is it really?
Yeah. She's colorblind.
Look.
Girl, that's pink as fuck. Who are you trying to fool?
Look me up. That's orange.
Wow. Okay, wait. We continue that conversation.
This is a
because we're having a weird moment right now. We're seeing the color two different ways.
Okay.
But,
I have a pink highlighter though, just for
that's fair. That's true. So I think it was nice to see Grimmauld Place too, because we see a little bit more about how a wizarding family is run.
Yeah, and a lot of we see a lot of the negative effects on house elves that Hermione has been like talking about. I mean, not to like be in spew because that's annoying, but like Creature was mistreated by Sirius, and it did eventually lead to some of the turmoil in the ending of this book.
No, he played a major role. It was like, I feel like the spew issue has been building over the last book, and we finally understand why is it so important to Hermione. And this is why, and it's because people that get treated like shit, eventually, they stand up and they do what they think is right from their perspective, and it just isn't right. Be nice. Just be nice.
And like, you feel bad for Creature.
But you also hate him.
But you hate him because he's the worst.
He's horrible.
He's just a product of his environment.
He is. And, his mistress has been gone for so long. And he's been alone. He's been alone while Sirius was in prison for like
Sirius
13 years.
Fuck to him.
15 years or something.
And Dumbledore even says at the end, he's like, I told Sirius to fucking get his shit
and Harry's
together.
like, get his name out your mouth.
It's the best thing ever. Did you put your name in the Goblet of Fire?
There's so many great memes of that.
I mean, it's amazing. It's like the best part in all the movies. Well, that's interesting, though, especially in light of where we are right now. We're recording this in early December of 2017. Right now, not to take it too dark, but all of these sexual assault allegations are coming out, which is a wonderful thing to see the guilt, like, switching sides. But it makes me think of, like, how do you balance in your mind the fact that you can love someone and think they're the shit, and they can also do bad things, the way Sirius treats Creature, right? And also the way his father bullied Snape. That's two different instances in this book. I think that's a big part of loss of innocence, is when you have to realize, like, yeah, I love my dad. He's not perfect. Yeah, I love my mom. She's weak in this way, right? Or whatever.
Yeah, you go from idolizing to humanizing. And that's definitely a theme throughout the story.
Yeah, for sure. Another great thing we get from Grimmauld Place is the Black family tree and our first look at R.A.B. Right? Regulus on the wall. So I felt like that was a lot of great foreshadowing that definitely comes back to play. And that's part of the reason she's so talented, that she's set up so many morsels to trip across the series. And so, like, when you reread it, it's just like a fun thing for you to be like, I know where we're going with that. Like, that's just kind of exciting. So I enjoyed that again.
Speaking of things dripping across the series, can I just say, this is the first movie where I was like, yes, these men are hot.
They've really grown up by this point.
Because Daniel is 18.
Radcliffe.
Rupert is 9.
You're on a first name basis.
Yeah,
you and Danny Rad.
Me, D-Rad. And then Rupert, what's his last name?
Grint.
He is 19. And then Tom Felton, I have that one. He's my favorite. He's 20.
He's like a fine wine, that one.
Oh, girl.
We're down for Tom Felton. I don't know where you're at on that spectrum, but all day.
Oh, yeah. Real quick. Marry, fuck, kill. Harry, Ron...
Make a massive...
Oh, right. Harry, Ron, Malfoy. This is no big deal, but if you answer incorrectly, you're
Wait, but the actors or the characters?
Oh, the actors. The actors. So let's do
actors, that's
Daniel,
easy.
Rupert, Tom.
All right. Marry Daniel. Fuck Tom. Kill Rupert.
I see that.
They're all sexy in their own right, like a beautiful Neapolitan ice cream. But... unfortunately, I'm going to have to kill Rupert as well, but I'm going to do the opposite. I'm going to fuck Daniel. And we've seen him in that Equus showcase. Not too shabby. And he still had his foreskin. We've talked about this.
Oh, that's how I know he has his foreskin.
Yeah, but Daniel, not Harry.
That was so subconsciously in my brain, I completely forgot about that.
And I'm going to marry old Tommy because I follow him on the gram, and he is the sweetest, most precious, and he had this girlfriend for a long time. I don't know what happened. The tabloids didn't cover it, but they're obviously not together anymore. And he was so in love with her, and he like is a musician, and he like doesn't do too many projects. He chooses things wisely, but he likes to just like travel and be himself. And also, I just like his face, and I want to look at it every day.
Well, I also love him, but I have to tell you, I was mad at him for leaving The Flash, because he's not on this season of The Flash.
I don't think that was his choice.
Oh, who would kick off Draco Malfoy?
Well, I don't know, but I'm also sad he's not there.
Oh, okay.
I heard nothing. But you know what else I didn't hear? Matthew David Lewis's name in this. Old fucking
Neville?
Mr. Longbottom. He really longbottomed. And for me, he trumps all those motherfuckers if I marry fucking kill him.
Hell to the yes.
But not yet, though.
No,
not at this point, because he's still...
Fuck it, I'll take him then.
You
can lock him in a closet for a few years.
Put him next to the bananas, the taters, and he's fine.
Girl, and then in 10 years, when he really longbottoms, he's going to be like, you were always there for me.
Yes.
And you're a
I was
treasure.
there for the come up, baby.
Yeah, the glow up.
Yes.
But really, he's gorgeous.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Can we talk about that really intense and wonderful battle between Voldemort and Dumbledore?
Yeah, it was.
I love that battle.
It went so much faster in the book than I remember it. Especially the moment when Harry is when Voldemort goes inside him or whatever. You know what I mean? What's that called?
Yeah, of course I know what you're talking about. The possession moment?
No, when they fucked. Yeah. Yeah, when he was possessed, it happened very quickly. Remember, and it happened. We'll get back to Dumbledore, but when Harry was possessed by Voldemort, all he could think was that he felt like he was dying and that he was pleased about it because he could finally be back with Sirius. And his remembrance and his love for Sirius is what drove Voldemort out of him. So it's interesting because he's let his love for Sirius eclipse the love he has for his parents because he's the closest, real tangible thing he has to them, you know? And I think it's interesting he doesn't feel quite that way about Lupin. Even after Sirius is gone, I would think he would attach himself to Lupin in that way. And he doesn't, but Lupin does for him because Lupin makes him the godfather of little baby Teddy. You know, it's just an interesting relationship. He really loves Sirius.
Because that was his godfather. I mean, would he have felt differently if they were like, oh, Lupin's your godfather?
I don't know.
Because I think it was the first glimmer of hope for Harry that he could have a life outside of his miserable life at Hogwarts. As much as he loved it, it was very difficult for him, and also his miserable life at Pivot Drive. And so for him, it was an opportunity. The love wasn't just a hope; it was an opportunity. And
Harry going home at the end of the summer is literally the epitome of what's awful about being a young person who's not in control of their own life. Every time you get to that point. No matter how many bills you have in student loans and debt and how many ramen noodles you have to eat that week, at least you didn't have to fucking go home for a couple of months and live with the Dursleys. You know what I mean? Freedom is precious.
Well, and what's funny is that in this book, we really start to understand Petunia. Especially towards the end. And it's she knows that if Harry isn't there for at least a month at a time, he's curse is gonna be wrong. He's fucked. He's SOL. Shit out of luck.
I remember, I don't think it happens yet. I think it happens in the last book. But doesn't she become kind of sympathetic at one point, Petunia? Doesn't she have a moment that has something to do with Harry's mom? Where they have a heart-to-heart moment. It might be in this book. You guys are remember.
No, it wasn't this book. I feel vaguely that's a thing. We'll have to tell you.
It opens the door for that, but I don't think it
because it's already starting. Because she I don't know. She is what's Harry's mom's name?
Lily.
Lily. She's Lily's sister, right? Whereas Vernon ain't nobody. He's nothing.
He's just a giant sausage.
Yeah, he's Aunt Marge's brother.
Nobody.
No!
Yeah, Marge, that little hoe.
Yeah, that's who we have from his family,
fine
right?
in the sky right now.
Girl.
Pull out.
She's a blimp.
Yeah.
And,
She's literally a blimp. No, she turned her into a blimp. She floated away.
She's the Goodyear blimp. You just put a face on it and that's her.
Girl. But, Aunt Petunia, she's from a good, kind family. And I feel over time you start to see glimmers of that. Which is nice to see. Because I guess she likes her life, but damn. Would you?
She wants the opposite, though,
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about that Voldemort-Dumbledore situation.
Oh, yeah.
So, it's kind of like that moment in Star Wars where you finally see Yoda battling somebody because you've heard for so long how epic they are, but also they seem a little fragile, even though they're very, mentally powerful and, they're still getting around.
Yeah, but they're old. You just say it, they're old.
But you didn't know. And Dumbledore rolls up in that piece being fierce as fuck, and all he has to do is be present for old Tommy Riddle to be shaken in his little booties.
Well, it is the first time that you see Voldemort get scared. I mean, all these times that he's been battling Harry, he's definitely thought, oh, Harry has the upper hand, but I'm Voldemort. And this was the first time that it was bitch, I'm Dumbledore.
And Dumbledore calls him Tom, which is belittling to him, which I love subtly. So great.
I just love, the moment where Dumbledore makes the statues come to life.
Yeah.
I think it's very powerful because they are it's such a shitty collection of statues because the wizard is the one looking out all confident. The witch, the centaur, and the house elf are all looking up at him adoringly. Do you remember that detail? And I love that they got rid of that damn statue because, that is patriarchy. That is what that statue is patriarchy.
Absolutely.
So, fuck that statue. What do you think they put in its place, though? Because it's a real central place in the Ministry of Magic. You got to put something really good there.
I don't know. Maybe they just put a giant lightning bolt in ode to Harry's scar, which he loses at the end of the book series. Remember, it goes away when Voldemort dies.
That's true.
That's kind of weird, right?
That is really weird because it's a defining character for him. So does he just get to go on and live
He
life
actually,
and, like,
he
be
gets up and
incognito?
contours it on every night.
Probably
Okay.
so.
Look at that, Anastasia
Molds
Beverly
that
Hills. I need that liquid liner.
I'll go ahead and fix up my brows too while I'm here.
Full smoky eye, 10 minutes later.
I don't know. Maybe a statue of Dumbledore. I mean, he does die soon, and
R.I.P.
he is a big deal. So, yeah.
I don't know, and you know, it'd be interesting to see like a memorial to like the Deathly Hallows, which go on to really not exist anymore. Of course, Harry breaks the Elder Wand. Spoiler alerts for the later books. Anyways, so that's an interesting thought, like what happens there. But what does happen there at the Ministry? This is a question I've had. Voldemort and Dumbledore both create magic without words. But other people can't do that. That's not a skill
And some people
everyone
can barely
has.
create magic with the words.
Looking at you, Neville. You know what I mean, though? Like Neville bites his tongue or something, and then he can't even say the word stupefy correctly, so he can't perform the spell. But Dumbledore says nothing, and he makes a giant fire snake come to life.
So epic.
You know what I mean?
Well, is it next book that they start taking those silent spell casting courses?
Yeah, yes, but
Right.
even still, it seems like a skill that everyone cannot master.
Oh, sure.
Like, do you think it's a sign of like a really, really advanced wizard that you just do spell work silently? Like, because I think it does.
Because McGonagall, too, do you remember when she and Snape get into a fight? I think that's
She's
further
just
on.
like flip.
Yeah, it's
flip.
so fucking fierce. Every scene with McGonagall is fierce. She's like, oh, so great.
Except for the one that she gets shot at.
Which one? What are you talking about?
In this book,
When she gets
they
shot?
knock her ass out. When she's running to Hagrid's hut.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah, but that's sad.
It was in the
though.
dark.
Those
She
people
didn't
are-
know.
Yeah.
That's horrible. That's the only reason they got the jump on her. Because but when she's fighting Snape, you know, there's neither of them are saying any curse. They're just pew 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 with their little fingers.
Also, when she is such an accomplished witch and she's fantastic at everything, but she has such a big heart, even though she has that facade, you know, the McGonagall like angry thing. And when they're in Dumbledore's office and they're about to try to take him to Azkaban, and Dumbledore's like, "Oh no, you've been operating under this false pretense that I'm gonna, how do you say, come quietly?" Which, first of all, holler, and they start firing like spells. McGonagall doesn't help. She gets down and she shields the children. Like, that's her first instinct, which I think is really a testament to her character. She's strong in so many ways.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's beautiful.
I would definitely have sex with her if she wanted to have sex.
I know you would, and that's uncomfortable.
It would be very difficult, though. I mean, there's a lot that we'd have to overcome to make our love a reality.
She would have to do some magic.
You're so right. Oh my god, it would be so easy. Where is she?
What are you talking about?
Get in my bedroom. Turn herself into, well, anyone, I suppose. Brad Pitt. He's gonna be Brad. Young Brad Pitt.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Thelma and
Not
Louise
like
Brad Pitt.
now.
No, not who is called
With his like 8
Stinky
kids.
Pit.
and-
Yeah.
Stinky
Armpit.
Pit.
They call him that. Yeah, or armpit. Yeah,
Armpit.
he's supposed to smell really bad.
Oh, that's so sad.
Isn't that a damn shame? I guess he doesn't have to try at all. But speaking of people who don't have to try at all, I brought a secret history of Arabella Fig.
Yes.
Can I share that with you guys real fast?
Yes, because also I have so many questions about squibs.
Mm.
So you go
Squibby,
first.
scrib.
I would say, Morgie, any question you have about squibs can be answered by just looking in the mirror.
I'm offended.
Wow.
Okay.
And fuck
Too
you.
real.
The secret history of Arabella Fig. So the basics. What do you know about Arabella Fig off the top of your head?
She has cats.
She's a crazy cat lady.
She's a
100%.
crazy cat lady.
Love that.
She's a squib.
She's squib. Which means she ain't got no magic.
She was Harry's neighbor.
Absolutely. Lived one street over on
And his
Mysteria Drive.
babysitter
And his babysitter, very important.
for like a lot of years. Dumbledore trusts her.
Yes. And
Most important.
absolutely. Yeah, he really trusts her. Like, she's a true blue for him. Okay, so you guys got all the basics. That's fabulous. So, a little bit less well known. She not only loves cats, but she breeds them.
Oh,
And
why?
she doesn't breed well, because she doesn't breed just normal cats. They're half cat, half Kneasel. which is like a magical cat.
Is that what Crookshanks is?
Yes, and they think, fans online, think that Crookshanks is one of her half-breed cats. Because measles are bigger, and they're orange and spotted and smarter than normal cats.
And Sirius did say that Crookshanks was a smart little kitty.
They communicated.
Mm-hmm. No, they were friends, and when he was in the fire, Crookshanks was trying to get in the fire.
And so perceptive to the danger of a fucking little rat dude.
Wormtail.
Wormtail.
So, could be, what's his name? Regulus Black.
Yeah,
'Cause we talked
that's a
about that
theory. Have you heard that
before.
theory? Or do you remember
what?
this? So there's a theory out there that Crookshanks is Regulus Black because of his relationship with Sirius, but also because Crookshanks was like constantly trying to like help them and further them towards like killing scabbers and like.
So is the idea that he's an animagus?
Yes, just like Sirius, because Sirius is unregistered. So, like, you know, maybe the talent runs in the family. Because, first of all, it's quite difficult to be an animagus, and apparently just some old teenagers can learn it, whatever. Children logic or whatever. Kid
logic.
Yeah. So, so that's a great theory, but I'm really into this.
When I read that, I like shit a brick. I was so excited. Okay, but
Did it
the
hurt?
most... Girl, no.
Hot dog in a hallway.
You know, I made a joke one time about sticking a bowling pin up my ass, and my coworker thought I was being serious, and I was so offended. I was like, "You think I'm a legit whore, like a real whore? I'm not." Anyway, secret history.
Okay.
Back to basics.
Anyway, the secret history of Arabella Fig is that she moved to Little Whinging, or whatever that little town is.
It is Whinging.
Whinging. Yeah. She moved to Little Whinging on Dumbledore's orders, right? Moved the street across from Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Her and all them cats.
Her all them cats, that stale chocolate cake. Stale-ass chocolate cake. And then she spent the rest of, what was that, 11, 12, 13 years.
Yeah.
I don't know how old he is. 14, 15 years.
She's still there, presumably.
15 years. Yeah, and she spent all that time watching over Harry, right? She might be dead. Yeah. She spent all... So really, if you think about it, she has changed her entire life.
For the cause.
Just to watch this kid. Yeah. And all she does is babysit him in book 1. And then in this book, she just comes up when the Dementors are attacking, you know?
Yeah. Also, she's a member of the Order, like full-fledged. I saw her name in the lineup online, so... That's her service, I think. That's the service that she served for, you know, the last couple decades of her life.
So I would love to, like, read a short story that's, like, this from her point of view. I want, like, small
That'd
segments.
be fascinating.
Yeah, I think that would be beautiful because I want to know her part of the story.
Plus, she's definitely having meetings, like, Dumbledore's, like, stopping by. They're having chats. He's asking how he's doing. Because, you know, they didn't just dump and run. They followed up.
Like a good man does.
Go tell it, girl. But about squibs. So she is a squib, which means that she was born to a magical family but has no magical abilities. Mm-hmm. And we've seen a couple other squibs throughout the series.
Filch.
Ariana Dumbledore, who is Dumbledore's little sister that tragically died and set off a whole world of hurt that we're maybe going to see in Fantastic Beasts because it involves Grindelwald. She was a self-induced squib because she was born with magical abilities, but because she was, I don't know what they did, but
bullied or traumatized.
She was traumatized by a group of Muggle boys because they saw her performing some magic, and because of the trauma from that, she lost her magical abilities and became a squib. And we've seen Filch. We're assuming he was born a squib. So, what a tragic thing.
Well, the idea that you can be magical and then all of a sudden you aren't. It's a fragile state.
Yeah, losing your magic. Ooh, which is what's happening next season in The Magicians.
Ooh,
that's where
I haven't watched
They're all a bunch of fucking squibs. No, it doesn't come out till January, girl.
Yeah, no, I mean, I haven't watched the trailer yet.
Oh, it's good. You should check
I saw you.
Yeah, Julia's doing magic, as per usual.
Yeah, you know. So, I mean, okay, so this is one of my deep questions, but it's just the perfect timing. I've got to ask it now. So, if you had a choice, you could either be a squib who's from a powerful wizarding family, live in that world, or you can be incredibly powerful for 10 years, but then you burn out and become a Niffin a la the Magicians.
Oh.
Right? So, incredible power for 10 years and you lose it, or no power but surrounded by magic for your entire life.
But a Niffin, you're like essentially dead.
Well, Well, kind of. I don't know. I mean, when Alice is a Niffin, she like literally explores the universe.
Yeah.
So that sounds like a good life.
But you also become a little evil.
Well, you're already a little evil, honey bunny.
Okay.
She thinks she's the beauty.
Ashley, I don't know. You gotta hit this first. I don't know what to do.
I would take the 10 years of power, and I'll tell you why.
Do you get to choose the 10 years? Or is it 1 through 10? That's a shitty time in life.
Let's say 15 to 25.
Okay, so you can get on the glow up, which is fine. I would choose that because you could always fake it till you make it, honey. You scare enough people. Like, Voldemort doesn't have to do magic for people to think that he's scary.
He doesn't frequently.
I know. He doesn't for a long time. So it's the idea that, hey, I'm already a little evil. I'll take it.
Okay.
I can scare enough people, get enough out of my system, do some crazy shit.
Enchant some shit.
Yeah, enchant some shit that I can use later. I know ahead of time, assuming, right? So I can plan. And then I can just be a scary girl who's actually not really that scary.
Okay,
that's banging.
Here's my question I need answered before I can broach this topic. If I were a squib, I had no magical ability, what are the chances that you think a nice wizard man would love me? Would a nice wizard man love me if I were a squib?
Because squibs are...
Because he wouldn't want to pass those genes on.
Yeah, squibs are ridiculed. Filch has that little book.
They're all lonely.
Magic. Yeah, they're lonely. They're exiled. It's sad. It's a sad fate. I think the choice is easy.
You could marry Filch.
No.
You could
honey. If I thought the chances that like somebody would love me equally and not judge me for not being a squib, if that were happening, I would choose that one because I wouldn't want to have to relinquish a power. But the thought of like not only missing out on like magic, but also missing out on like equal judgment as a witch in society, I think I would also have to take the 10 years.
I think that says a lot about you, that you are like, will I be loved though? That's
I don't want to be a
qualifying question. Like, will I be loved?
Because it makes me, Filch is a dick. But it makes me truly sad to think about how alone he is. And Mrs. Fig with her 1,000 cats that she's making fuck for money, I guess, because she's a breeder. It makes me really, really sad. And like, not that she dislikes her life. Maybe she's perfectly happy, but I can't be doing that. That's not for me.
It's interesting, is because it's privilege. It's magical privilege that we're talking about, really. Because all these people who have privilege don't give a shit that the squibs have zero privilege and have no currency in that world. Well, I mean, I guess, maybe it's not that hard of a question, because I would totally do the same. But that's mostly because I think being a Niffin from The Magician sounds like fun as shit. Like, I'm so into that. So, yeah, I would do that. Though, I don't think I would mind being a squib that badly, because here's the thing, if you're a squib, you can't find love in the wizarding world, you just go to the muggle world. You can still get all the hot boys, or girls.
Well... yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean? But because the reason they're isolated is because they are continually trying to live up to their more privileged surroundings.
So if you just accepted it, you basically doubled your dating pool.
Queen, exactly. Mm-hmm. Yes. You can fuck anybody.
Well, fuck them all.
Fuck them all. All right. I'm interrupting whatever the hell is going on right now.
Which was definitely brilliant.
I'm sure it was brilliant, but nonetheless, I'm speaking to you, just me. Morgan is speaking from who knows where, but I'm speaking from the future.
From the future.
I'm from the future. And one, I want to let you know, do not put on that dress today. That dress you're thinking about wearing looks horrible on you.
And throw your dreams in the gutter, because it's never gonna happen.
Never.
But you look so cute.
You do look cute.
We're so happy for you.
You look normal.
It's okay. It's working, I guess.
We're coming to you from the future to go ahead and end this episode now, because we're trying to give you these beautiful shorter episodes.
Yes.
But we still got plenty of information for you.
So much.
Tell it to him, Morgan.
So we're going to hit you with the rest of Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix in episode part 2 coming up shortly. So stay tuned for that in the podcast feed. Mm-hmm. But for now, we will bid you adieu. But fear not, you can find us on all of our social media, on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, at B&Bcast. Search us out. We're Beauty and the Bitch. You can hit us up on bnbcast.wordpress.com. You can check out Mickey.
It's bitofbella.wordpress.com.
And you can check out Morgie at morganizedmess.com. So there's a little bit of us to go around till next time.
Absolutely. And if you're really interested, you can Google, is Mick the real beauty, and see what comes up.
Like literally nothing. Like literal piles of shit is what will come up. So it's not safe for work, so Google it at home. But until then,
bye.
Bye.
Is Mick the beauty? Important questions for 2018.
Answer definitively not.
Do you have a home? Beauty in the bed. You look. Beauty in the bed. Beauty in the bed.